You're transported to 100 years into the past with a fully charged smartphone but no charger. What do? Trade the phone for Louisiana. Don't use it. Find rich person. Demo its uses and leave out the battery stuff. Sell it to rich person for a ridiculous amount of currency. Get as far away as possible. You could probably even explain the battery and sell it to an ambitious industrialist. If you can sort out generating the power, it would work forever. The first electric generator was invented in 1831, so someone was probably working on it. It's actually not hard to build a charger. The problem is getting steady current at 5V when you don't have a great way of measuring voltage. I'm willing to pay you a small fortune for this. How does $100 sound? I mean, it's less than what I paid for it, but I guess I can invest it in the past, I think. Not sure how my time machine works exactly. Gets immediately sent back to the future after the trade. I got 67 gig of memes to educate the human race. Ah, that's hot. That's hot. Lower my brightness. Turn on battery saving mode. Turn off auto screen rotation. Put it on airplane mode. Without much technical knowledge, not a whole lot. It isn't like the internet was in existence 200 years ago. So unless you had a lot of info saved locally, it isn't very useful. Maybe use it for a flashlight for a while. I have a survival guide saved on my phone. And a copy of a Goofy movie, so I'd be pretty fucking set. Somebody needs to make a book called The Time Traveler's Guide. Each chapter is a premise of you being stranded back in time in a different era. It would have information you need to change the world with available technology at the time. Like say how to make gunpowder and a cannon if it was 1300s Europe. Maybe there's a book like that out there already, and if so, it's Amazon time. And then in the case of this thread, have the digital copy before you get sent back and go to the 1800s chapter and write down what you can before the battery dies. Cry. Well, you are gonna die. Come on buddy, self-esteem, you can do it. I'd take photos until my battery would run out. Then I'd leave the phone in some safe place waiting for time to catch up so someone can find it, charge it and find the photos. Sounds great on paper. Unfortunately data rot is a thing, so after about 20 years best case scenario, the data will start corrupting and the odds of anything readable being left after 200 years are very very slim. Flash memory is a pretty poor choice for long-term storage unfortunately. Turn the phone off and leave it in an attic. Live the rest of my days as any other person. On my deathbed, tell my grandchild about the phone and to go look for it. They find it but the battery is probably dead by now and I don't where I'm going with this. Nikola Tesla is your descendant. Grandpa sure got wacky in his old age. Anyway, throw that metal glass pocket thingy of his on the fire for kindling. I mean, would the thing even be useful without internet being around? Or cell phone towers? Is this whole thread pointless? Shrugged shoulders. That comes down to what you carry on your phone. Things like a clock, calculator, dictionary, compass, a star chart, e-books, calendar, camera, tuner, microphone, maps, ruler, music video, Google Sheets and even games. These are just the things that I personally have on my phone and are perfectly usable offline. I'm sure there's many more. The real problem is that you can't do much with only a day's worth of battery. Perhaps copy a book or two would be the best use of the time. If you were prepared for the event, you could load your phone with some diagrams and blueprints. I'd show people pictures of my dog. That would be 1890. Lady Ada Lovelace, the inventor of the first working mechanical computer, started working on it in the 1830s. I would find her and Charles Babbage and explain all the advances in computers and software and hardware, that is transistor design, in general. I am an electrical engineer with 25 years experience in digital VLSI design and audio signal processing. After teaching them knowledge that wouldn't be known for 150 to 200 years, I would leave with them the working example of a computer more powerful than they could dream of, the smartphone. I would tell them to keep it safe until technology develops that they can effectively reverse engineer it, though I already would have given them a high-level overview of how it works, from the RF front-end to the back-end application processor. Full stop. I would also give them a higher level overview of the manufacturing process for such a device. I could teach them how to make a DC power supply to keep the iPhone charged, but I don't have the specs on the recharge connector protocol. So it is not as simple as making a DC power supply and then you're done. My hope is that I advance technology by 100 years. However, the best that can hope for is a few decades, because advancement in one technology requires advancement in other technologies, some of which I have no expertise in. This is like how the ancient Greeks discovered the basic steam engine. But this didn't cause the Industrial Revolution to happen 2000 years earlier, because the metallurgy required to make vessels that could withstand the high pressures of a working practical steam engine would not be invented for hundreds of years. Also, if Ada Lovelace was hot, I would try to fuck her. Also, if Ada Lovelace was hot, I would try to fuck her. The most important takeaway: Ada Lovelace, she can't not be hot with that name. Die of like a million different viruses and illnesses that I am not immune to. Also spread around modern superbugs that will eradicate all human life on Earth. Also take a selfie before I die. Whoever has hardcore history downloaded on their phone is about to be a prophet. Edit. To those of you complained butterfly effect and shit. I just mean publish an article in a local paper about your predictions a month before it happens. It won't cause a ripple at all, and would most likely be looked upon afterwards. Kind of like Nostradamus. Maybe I'd start some sort of religion cult around this tiny, cold box that makes sounds and has moving pictures, get rich and enjoy the rest of my life. Granted that I'm not going to get executed for witchcraft. Depends on the delivery, I guess. Works at most for a week before you get killed, since you can't play your magic box of sounds anymore. Do I have a chance to prepare? If so, grab an offline copy of Wikipedia with science and engineering topics. Pretty much every phone designed can accept 5V DC power from the USB port for slow charging. If it were 200 years in the past, we would have voltaic piles available in research labs, but no dynamo. Since each copper zinc cell has about 0.5 volts, stack a series of 10 of them together, with piles in parallel supplying power to the phone. Now I can use the phone without having to worry about running out of power. It might be necessary to take the phone apart to connect the external power source to the phone, since I might not have a USB-C cable to cannibalize. At this point, exploit the future's knowledge of geography to buy valuable land for mining, and introduce electricity for industrial purposes about 50 years early. If you can't find a lab with a bunch of lead and acid, you just need about 35 pounds of copper, 110 pounds of potato, and a stack of zinc electrodes. It sounds disappointing. Only charged 5% after 5 hours, but a potato battery will run for up to 5 days. If you can figure out a sufficiently bougie way to capitalize, carrying video messages for rich folks maybe, you could make a good living at it while you work out how to do more patents, probably. For good ideas of the day, you can then sell for lots of $sign and sock it in the market for your future self. Go all Back to the Future, part 2, and mail it to myself on a certain date in the future so that I can try and reverse engineer the phone and become the pioneer of smartphones. Become a multi-billionaire and rule the phone world, if not the entire world. It makes sense, right? Find a merchant, preferably one in a royal court. Demonstrate the camera recording abilities and talk up the potential of how you can use it to record and organize your royal life. Downplay lie when they ask how long it'll last. Get paid as much as possible and then haul ass out of that country, and preferably across an ocean as quick as possible. The biggest problem is trying to find someone who will pay you versus someone who just steals it off you. Yeet that shit into a river so no one knows I'm a time traveler. For real, it just takes a few angry guys to think you're devil and hunt you down and kill you. Find toilet, browse Reddit, die of dysentery, show up to a world fair with my mysterious light box, make a name for myself as an inventor or at least some mysterious guy with a mystical device, invent basic electricity generators and computers, try to charge the phone with a hand generator or something, try to reverse engineer the phone, be me, save Lingo, be hero, sex women, invent the mobile phone charger.